Welcome back to the third episode of Alpha Efficiency Website Pricing. And this time around, we will cover the topic that we haven't covered before, which would be the price of the SEO strategy. So I'll go back to the sheet where we've left off that the price for the SEO strategy can range anywhere between $7,500 to $150,000. And let's start with the justification for this pricing. First, I'd like to say, like, how many realistic hours does it take to build a good, solid SEO strategy? So, with the keyword research up front and creating a semantic structure and the architecture of your site, you're looking at like a bare minimum of 30 hours worth of labor. It could go all the way to 100 hours worth of labor. In some cases, more. SEO strategy is a continuous process. I'm talking here about the strategy that you will deploy once you launch a website. So it's a preliminary first strategy that you will go with. And let's say between 30 to 100 hours. Then the SEO salaries are pretty wide range. So the SEO is one of these industries where the specialists can drive a lot of value for the business. So when I see the number here that says $410,000 a year in Chicagoland area for an SEO specialist, I can tell you that that number is definitely possible. The highest I've seen was in 250,000 range with some coworkers of mine making that kind of mad money as an SEO, given that it's not as premium knowledge as DevOps, but that SEO is so close to revenue generating that SEOs that know what they're doing, they can create a lot of value for the business. And Alpha Efficiency can create a lot of value for your business too. So if you're interested in how we can make the value for your company, hit the schedule a call button in the description of this video, and I'll set up a free consultation for you, and we'll discuss 20 to 30 minutes what we can do for you. But back to the pricing ranges and what you can expect. Let's say that if you want to hire a good SEO, you're likely going to look for someone who has experience, who worked as an SEO in a company for several years, and that he had a good track record of results. You can probably take a look at the website that they were working on and run it through a website like SCM Rush, and the SCM Rush will give you the data of their past performance pretty transparently. So when you are hiring an SEO, you will be able to pinpoint the value that they are creating for a business that they're working in, and you will be able to see in what kind of an environment did they work in. So SEOs are not magicians, but they can help you structure the website from the get-go. That's why the value of SEO strategy is coming from the number of hours, but it's also very much dependent on the experience. And given that the SEO as a vertical and as a branch is so ever evolving, and some days some strategies are working better, and other days other strategies are just not delivering, it's always going to be a toss-up between, do you want to invest more into the links and what kind of a quality of a links do you want to invest in, or do you want to invest more into content, and what is the quantity of the content that you need to invest in? So on to the next thing. The Lone Cheetah is an example of the strategy that I've done for one of my previous employers. It was the last job I ever held, and this is going to be the last job I've ever done in a corporate environment. So we started this as a meme website because the company ownership was pretty flexible working with us. They allowed us a lot of freedom as to how we will generate the results for the company. And the Lone Cheetah was a meme website where we wanted to prove that Google will rank pretty much everything. And Lone Cheetah, a non-existing business that we had to DBA afterwards because it actually started pulling so much results for the company that we had to treat it like a company, and it had to have its own DBA. So long story short, the strategy behind this were two main things. The resource page that would allow us to create like a service pages, like you can see them over here, that would list all the related services that we could technically perform for the prospective clients of this imaginary meme business. So I know it's funny, but I think it's a very good topic to remember. This website's like a very good learning ground. And here you can see the internal linking, how it is done on a website, and the strategy that we took. So the keywords for the resource pages are linking back to the homepage, online title loan, which was a keyword used, which was a keyword that we were targeting to rank on Google. Car title is used as a collateral. It's taking the customer to the collateral loans page. Requirements for a car title loan requirements. Uh, then there's multiple keywords over here that are state related, which is the other part of the strategy, which is called doorway strategy in a way. Google is not a very big fan of doorway strategies, but they do still work, as Google has no ways of verifying whether a website is using a doorway strategy or not, or whether a website is using doorways or not. So these were the resources. Now we're moving on to the location pages that are state specific, and they're broken down in the states. This allows us to create massive amounts of content. In order to move the SEO, you need to know how much content and backlinks you need to move. Content and backlinks are building blocks of any SEO strategy. So with this website, it's no different like with any other. There's also a third part of content that you would like to introduce onto your website, which is a blog. So as you can see here, the last publication of a blog on this website was November 14, 2020, after which I don't believe that there was any SEO work done to this site. And yet this website still managed to retain its rankings 2 years later. So if this was in October 2000 for 2020, that there was no SEO done to this website, and it was generating around 6,000 hits per month. Like 2.5 years later, this website's still generating traffic. So that is the value of on-page architecture and the SEO that is done on the website itself through the content. Just so you can see the size of the investment, you can see that there are about 900 indexed pages over here. I'm pretty sure that in this list of pages that we've created as a part of the Doorway initiative, uh, there were there's probably around 900 here alone, plus the resource pages. I can't vouch for this. Like, it's been a long time. We built this website in 2016, 2015 over here. And throughout my tenure, I was with the company until January 2020, up until here. So I looked over this website all the way through its peak, and I was responsible for the on-page architecture of this project. Given that there's a lot of city pages, there was a way that we would be producing these pages at scale. What Google likes is the organic, natural content handwritten by a human being. They even have the guidelines as to how they do not want to have the artificially created content or spawn content. But this part over here is an actual strategy which you have to follow if you want your website to rank on the first page of Google. So the main keyword for this site was title loan estimate. And believe it or not, like so many years later, the Loan Cheetah is still ranking on the first page of Google for title loan estimate. So that is the power of content. If you were to look at this value, let's say that the value of a click in title loan space was around $20. So in 2018, at the height of this site, there was 12,764 visitors, uh, and then multiply that with the $25 per click. The value of the SEO traffic in a single month generated $320,000. That's insane. Like, we've seen clicks that were going in California for $50 per click. We've seen clicks that were going in some other states that title loans weren't as popular at $7. I'm just merely giving this as an example, but the value, SEO value that was produced by this website was insane. And I can tell you that the investment into this site, like, I don't believe that reached the 400K on its own for the lifetime of the site. So the return on investment from my experience comparatively to the pay-per-click advertising is 5 to 1. So that's why we believe that SEO is immense potential for companies that have the capacity and the resources to invest for the long haul. Because if you look at here, we started working in early 2015, took us a full 2 years before we started reaping the rewards. All of this over here is like a slight jump, and then we had like a full 2 3 years of a life cycle of a website that was generating the significant amount of revenue for the company at this point almost on autopilot. So that is the value of the strategy, and the price of the strategy has to be priced in based on the value that it will return. It just happens to be that SEO is a bit of a longer game, so the risks will always have to fall on the business owners, unfortunately. But finding some medium grounds, introducing bonus structures and things like that has always proved to be very lucrative for business owners that want to partner up with SEO agencies that can deliver the strategy. And the strategy is typically a very good foundation, a very good start, because it defines the content. And the content will be the topic of the next episode. And I really want to thank you for sticking around watching my SEO pricing guide. And I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.